Watch a movie, get inspired, give back, help a charity. It's time for a movie karma watch party. My name is Jared Milrad, and welcome to a movie karma watch party. This is a series that we're doing to celebrate socially conscious films and filmmakers around the world, which is why we launched our monthly A Show for a Change film festival. And this month, we're really excited to celebrate an incredible film, a very timely film called Out of View, which we're going to be screening for all of you in just a moment. But before we do that, I wanted to introduce and welcome our two special guests today, director Stephanie Hazel and producer Richard Anthony Dunford, joining us all the way from the UK, I believe. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. Hello from the UK.
There you go. So we're going to kick things off with a screening, and then we'll do a Q&A in the back end. Great. Well, thank you to Stephanie and Richard for sharing your film with us. It was obviously really impactful to all of us who saw it, and I'm sure to everyone watching. We have a bunch of questions for you, and again, if folks have questions, feel free to submit those. But first of all, I would just like to hear a little bit about your backgrounds. We'd love to hear how you kind of got into either becoming a filmmaker or producer. So Stephanie, let's start with you.
Yeah. So I primarily am an actress. So when like the lockdown stuff happened for me, I was like, what can I do? Because obviously everything stopped. All of the films stopped shooting, like everything. And writing is something I've wanted to get into more. I've wrote something a while ago that had a theme on homelessness and things. So this was really like my first kind of exposing experience into directing myself as well, in a weird, because of the way the situation unfolded. But me and Richard basically co-collaborated completely on this project, and he's worked a long time in film and directing and editing, so he has all the skills that I needed also. So it was a perfect mixture. But yeah, my background is mainly in acting, but I'll let Richard tell you about his.
Cool. Richard.
Yeah, so I guess I just started writing stuff and then editing and just sort of making stuff off my own back. I guess you kind of learn through making stuff. I think the first thing I did with Steph was maybe 2013, 2012, 2013. So we've done quite a few things since then. But yeah, I think you just I think the best way to learn is just to go out and do it, and you learn from your mistakes and sort of try and hone your craft. That's the way to look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. We like to say it's it's filmmaking, not film meeting or film thinking. It's definitely a very practical field. So a bunch of questions for you on the film itself. What was the ideation process like for this project, and how did it differ? I imagine it did from non-quarantine sets or pre-COVID sets. What was that like? Stephanie, I'll start with you.
Yeah, fascinating. It's a really interesting time to be making anything. Like I said, lots of things weren't happening, as many people know. So for us, it was essentially using what we had to make what we could. So obviously we had limited resources in terms of sets. Now things are opening up, which is fantastic, and you're able to have like a COVID compliant person and loads of risk assessments that have to be done. But me and Richard kind of worked the process all virtually. So and including working with our color gradist and our sound design, because the sound design was really important in this as well, especially at the ending. And so it was really a virtual experience, which is really strange when I love the collaborative element of film. That's what I absolutely love about it, is that you've got loads of people come together. And thank goodness for Richard, because I just emailed all the time. We spoke a lot. And so it was really, really interesting for me. I mean, in an element, it was actually quite a lonely experience, because we were bubbled in our separate households. All the filming was kind of one location. I was with my family household, which also presented its own things, and some noisy neighbours, which are really difficult when filming. But yeah, so it was a very, very interesting experience. But due to the nature of the film and the way I wrote the script, it kind of used what we had, and using the kind of logs as well, everyone knows social media, everyone relates to that instantly, so to be able to use that as a way in felt more real and more naturalistic, and we kind of got away with it with the found footage style a bit more. But Richard, what was your experience like?
Yeah, I guess it was just an opportunity actually to do something while everyone was on sort of full on lockdown. So yeah, it was just, everything was back and forth just through emails and file transfers and stuff like that. Which, I mean, it is possible to do it. So, take advantage of that technology that you couldn't have done it maybe 20 years ago, but you can do it now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's made for this opportunity. There are a few people that have managed to make things during this time, and they've probably had a similar output. But yeah, absolutely, use what you've got.
Yeah, you definitely did, and you definitely had you touched on the feelings I think a lot of us have been feeling, which just sense of claustrophobia and isolation and removal, being out of view in so many ways. What was it like for you, Stephanie, being an actor and being someone who's used to, as you said, collaborating and I imagine performing in front of people, even if there's a camera there? What was it like to do this in front of what I imagine was just a camera alone? So what was that like?
Oh, challenging. I love the two, and the bit between you and, specifically in this case, another cast member, or the chemistry, or a director. I love working on stuff, or challenging myself, or having feedback. So that to me was, yeah, it was exceptionally challenging. I really enlisted Richard in that a bit, because I would film, try and be objective, which is very difficult when it's you. You're trying not to analyze your face, but trying to be like, okay, let's try to be slightly objective, and then send him a couple of takes essentially that he could pick from, that would then be, and then we'd talk about them and stuff. So that was a really good way of separating myself and getting him to also make a decision about that stuff. Yeah, it was fascinating. I had to rope in, I did at one point, because of where we were filming it as well, and not being able to go outside and all of those things. I did have to rope in some family members for some extra roles, but also just I gave them a call sheet as well, and a shooting schedule, just so they were on board as well. But it was really challenging actually, and especially the themes in this, because of course we absolutely wanted to be super respectful and make sure it wasn't gratuitous in any way, and I was doing loads of research on that side as well. So from the writing perspective, it was really interesting, but from the performing perspective, very different, and not quite difficult not to have anyone to bounce off. But then loads of people were using social media, even over the lockdown, even now, to communicate, and so that's what I was trying to envisage. But some of the content is quite hard, so there were some days where it was quite tiring and draining, and just trying to
And did you grow up, Stephanie, vlogging at all? Was this something that a newer format to you? Because I know a lot of younger people today, or teenagers right now, Gen Z or Gen A, whichever the next one's going to be called, are vlogging. This is something they do every day, which for me is a little bit of a foreign experience. Is this something that you grew up doing, or was this newer to you? as well?
So totally new.
Mm-hmm.
I find maybe because of acting in the industry and stuff, and Richard probably similar to this, we put stuff out there and it's all in, you know, with other people, and it's associated with other people, and it's got a nice polished finish, and it's really great. It's very vulnerable exposing yourself like that. But it's sometimes I noticed that someone I know did this, and it was at points they wanted people, they were lonely and they wanted connection and they wanted that human response, and that was also a platform for them to be really honest about their life and where they are. And the response generally from people is quite respectful and quite like, wow, I can't believe you're doing that. But also it's like Kira in the film, is the idea is that she doesn't have anyone else to talk to. She is literally like, okay, I'm going to tell the world this problem, but I don't even know what's happening. I'm processing it with the audience. And that was, but I've seen a few of those, but it's really vulnerable. That's very brave people to do that. Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Jared Milrad, the founder of Movie Karma. Thanks so much for stopping by our page. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this channel with your friends and family so we can continue to transform entertainment into action.